What's up, guys? It's Ty here, and today I have the Week 11 recap here for college football, and we're almost coming to the end, man. College football. It's been going on for around 3 months now, 2.5, and we still got about 2 months to go, but it's going by quick, and it's pretty sad. I mean, college football, it's the best time of year. I mean, you got regular football, but I think college football is better than regular football, in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments section. Put your opinions down below. So, let's move on to the games here. We had some Tuesday night action. Obviously, Miami of Ohio actually surprisingly beat Akron 24-14. Gus Ragland was 19 for 32 with 3 touchdowns and 244 yards. I'm going to try to go through these games quickly so we can talk about the bigger games. Buffalo beat Bowling Green 38-28. Anthony Johnson, 160 yards and 2 touchdowns through the air. Tyree Jackson, 406 yards and 3 touchdowns for Buffalo. On to Wednesday night, and it's some more action, and it's sad. This is very sad. Ohio mollywopped Toledo 38-10. It was at Ohio, and giving Toledo their first MAC loss. I'm sad to see that, but Dorian Brown for Ohio had 142 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. He was just a straight beast. Deontay Johnson, though, had 144 yards and a touchdown for Toledo. So, that's sad, but I think Toledo will still go 10-2 and win the MAC, so they'll go 11-2. So, I think they're going to win their bowl game. They're going to go 12-2. Just saying. Western Michigan beat Kent State 48-20. Nothing surprising there. Jarvian Franklin had 191 yards and a touchdown on the ground for Western Michigan. Central Michigan beat Eastern Michigan 42-30. Jonathan Ward had 159 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. Corey Willis had 2 touchdowns and 71 yards through the air. Thursday night here, we had Northern Illinois beat Ball State 63-17. Marcus Childers was only 10 for 22, but 4 of those 10 were for touchdowns, so I guess that's all right. Appalachian State makes Georgia Southern 0-9. Appalachian State wins 27-6. No really crazy stats right there. Sad thing here, North Carolina beat Pittsburgh 34-31. Darren Hall, though, for Pittsburgh had 121 yards and 4 touchdowns on the ground. What a game, but it wasn't enough to beat the Tar Heels, the 2-8 Tar Heels, and they got their first win in the ACC. Friday night, we had ourselves a very good game, and the Stanford Cardinal upset the number 9 ranked Washington Huskies 32-22 in Stanford. Bryce Love, Heisman candidate, had 30 carries, 166 yards, and 3 touchdowns, and he led them to the victory. Nice to see Washington lose. They're out of the playoff race. Temple beat Cincinnati in Cincinnati 35-14. Nothing crazy there. BYU actually won another game. Who would have thought? BYU 3-8 on the year. They beat UNLV 31-21. Squaley, Canada. What a name. 213 yards on the ground with a touchdown. So, on to Saturday. Saturday. Oh, what a day it was. Ohio State, after being embarrassed, flat out embarrassed, honestly, to Iowa, they put it back on to Michigan State, the number 12th ranked Spartans, ahead of Ohio State. Ohio State beat them 48-3, and honestly, we slowed down. We threw to JT Barrett. He was 14 for 21. With 183 yards and 2 touchdowns, but he did also throw 2 picks, but he also had 2 touchdowns on the ground himself, but those 2 picks I don't like, but one of them was like a crazy one-handed pick, so I mean, I'm not counting that. We honestly could have won like 62-3, honestly, but we kind of slowed it down. Didn't score any points in the 4th, but Michigan State only scored 3 points. Mike Weber, 9 carries, 162 yards. One of those was an 82-yard rush. One of those was a 47-yard rush. And Benjamin Victor, he had a touchdown. Very nice catch. I'm happy with the team. We beat a team higher ranked than us, and that's probably going to put us probably like 8th or 9th in the rankings now. So I'm very, very happy about that. On to Michigan. I mean, we have Illinois next week, but we're going to win the Eli Buck, and then on to Michigan. Shocker here in Jordan-Hare. The number 10th ranked Auburn Tigers beat the Georgia Bulldogs 40-17. 40-17, giving Georgia their first SEC and regular loss on the year. Jared Stidham, 16 for 23, 214 yards and 3 touchdowns. Carry on the workhorse Johnson had 167 yards on the ground. And Auburn beats Georgia. Now they got to see if they can upset Alabama. And speaking of Alabama, Alabama ended up beating Mississippi State in Mississippi State 31-24. They outscored Mississippi State 14-3 in the fourth quarter. They were down, and they scored in the last 25 seconds to win the game. So they almost were upset. Calvin Ridley, though, had himself a day. 5 receptions, 171 yards. And Eris Williams for the Bulldogs had 97 yards and 2 touchdowns. I really wanted to see Mississippi State beat the Crimson Tide, but they could not. In the Catholics versus Convicts game, Miami absolutely obliterated the number 3rd ranked team in the nation. They beat Notre Dame 41-8, and I'll tell you what, the turnover chain was out. They had a pick 6, they had 3 turnovers. It was great. Travis Homer had 146 yards on the ground. Malik Rozier, 15 for 24, 137 yards, and a touchdown. Flat out domination. I don't know what to make the thumbnail. I don't know if I should make it the Auburn thumbnail, or a Miami thumbnail. I really do not know. You'll see it. Or Oklahoma. Oh, there's so many thumbnails, so many good games this week. Moving on, Clemson beats Florida State 31-14. Travis Etienne had 97 yards and 2 touchdowns. Oklahoma beat TCU in Norman 38-20. They were up 38-14 at the end of the first half. Baker Mayfield, though, looked great. 18 for 27, 333 yards and 3 touchdowns. Rodney Anderson, 151 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. And he also had 5 receptions, 139 yards and 2 touchdowns in the air. Holy crap, what a game. He had 290 yards and 4 touchdowns. What a game, what a game. Wisconsin thrashes Iowa 38-14. Hornibrook, after throwing a pick 6 to start out the game, he was 11 for 18, 135 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jonathan Taylor, 157 yards on the ground. USC beat Colorado 38-24. Ronald Jones had 142 yards on the grounds. Juwan Winfrey had 163 yards and 2 touchdowns for Colorado. Penn State beat Rutgers 35-6. Rutgers was up 3-0 after the first, but we obviously knew that Penn State was going to win this game. Saquon Barkley, I believe, had 2 touchdowns. So did Trace McSorley. Oklahoma State beat Iowa State 49-42. Justice Hill had 25 carries with 134 yards and 3 touchdowns. Mason Rudolph was 25 for 31 with 376 yards and 3 touchdowns. And Iowa State, they threw a pick with 30 seconds left in the end zone to end their hopes of winning the game. How sad. Georgia Tech beats Virginia Tech, giving the Hokies their 2nd loss on the year. No really crazy stats, but they win 28-22. In the civil conflict game, yes, that's what the game. This is actually a rivalry. Don't get it twisted. UCF remains undefeated. They beat the Huskies 49-24. Mackenzie Milton had 24 for 36 with 311 yards and 2 touchdowns. Washington State beat the Utes 33-25. Luke Falk was 40 for 69. He threw the ball a bunch, 311 yards and 3 touchdowns. NC State escaped in Boston College. They beat them 17-14. A.J. Dillon, had 196 yards and a touchdown on 36 carries. It seems like every single Boston College running back to ever come out of there is like a workhorse. We all remember Andre Williams, the trucking god, or he trucked this one guy. Like he trucked people, all right? I remember him. But A.J. Dillon seems like he could be a nice 3rd, 4th round selection in the draft. I don't know, man. That's what I see. LSU beat Arkansas 33-10. Darius Geis had 147 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground. DJ Chark had 130 yards and 2 touchdowns through the air. Northwestern beat Purdue 23-13. No crazy stats right there. Let's moving on. Army beat Duke 21-16. No crazy stats there. Texas Tech beat Baylor. Charlie Brewer for Baylor, that was 43 for 63 with 417 yards and 3 touchdowns. Denzel Mims had 12 receptions, 152 yards, and a touchdown for Baylor as well. Ole Miss beat Louisiana 50-22. A.J. Brown had 14 receptions for 185 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jordan Tamayu, or Tamu, okay, he had 28 for 36, 418 yards, and 3 touchdowns. South Carolina beat Florida. What's new? Florida lost again. They beat them 28-20. Florida, if they lose one more game, they will not be bowl eligible. Oh my God, the Florida State game, the loser will not be bowl eligible probably. That's kind of hilarious, I think. I find that funny. Indiana beat Illinois. Illinois is 0-7 in the Big Ten. If Ohio State loses to... Oh, Indiana got their first Big Ten win. Yay. If Ohio State loses the Eli Buck next week to Illinois in Ohio, in Columbus, I will be... I'll quit YouTube. I'll probably quit YouTube. All right? All right. 24-14 win for Indiana. Minnesota beat Nebraska 54-21. Demery Croft had 183 yards and 3 touchdowns. J.D. Spielman, though, had himself a good game, though. 9 receptions, 140 yards. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, 141 yards, but it wasn't enough to beat the Golden Gophers. Middle Tennessee beat Charlotte 35-21. Okay. Wake Forest beat Syracuse 64-43. Now that's on a basketball score, and also Syracuse scored 5 points in the third quarter. That's awesome. Matt Colborn from Wake Forest had 237 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground for Wake Forest. Steve Ishmael, though, for Syracuse had himself a good game, 145 yards and a touchdown. Louisville beat Virginia 38-21. Lamar Jackson had 15 carries, 147 yards, and a touchdown on the ground. Michigan 8-2. Surprisingly, don't forget about Michigan. They are 8-2 on the year, but they're going to lose Ohio State and probably Wisconsin as well. So they beat Maryland 35-10. Brandon Peters 9 for 18, 145 yards, and 2 touchdowns. West Virginia beat Kansas State in a close one. They win 28-23. Karan White had 168 yards and 2 touchdowns through the air. Will Grier 372 yards and 4 touchdowns passing. Navy beat SMU. SMU had a late surge. Navy was up big, but then SMU tried to make a late comeback, but it came up short. Malcolm Perry for Navy had 33 carries, 282 yards, and 4 touchdowns on the ground. What a game from him. Florida Atlantic beat Louisiana Tech 48-23. Devin Singletary had 3 touchdowns for FAU. Southern Mississippi beat Rice 43-34. Oh my God. Noshawn Eberle had 153 yards and 4 touchdowns for Rice. Corey on the ground. Corey Robinson had 159 yards and 2 touchdowns for Southern Mississippi. UMass beat Maine 44-31. Andy Isabella had 152 yards and 3 touchdowns for UMass. Georgia State beat Texas State 33-30. All right. Nevada beat San Jose State 59-14 in the battle of the one-win teams. And, there's a 100-yard pick 6 for Nevada, it seems. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Kentucky gave Vanderbilt 6 losses in the SEC. They beat them 44-21. Benny Snell Jr. had 116 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground. Troy beat Coastal Carolina 42-17. South Alabama beat Arkansas State, giving them their first loss in the Sun Belt 24-19. North Texas keeping UTEP undefeated. Suited the butt up. They're 0-10. That's not good. They beat them 45-10. Mason Fine. What a name. That's a cool name. 23 for 35, 213 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Texas had a 28-point first quarter. They beat the Jayhawks 42-27, a lot closer than what you'd want it against the Jayhawks in football, but hey, a win is a win. Marshall beat Western Kentucky, even though Western Kentucky outscored them 13-0 in the fourth. The comeback came up short. Marshall moves to 7-3 on the year. UAB beat UTSA on 24-19. No crazy stats there. I mean, I guess Elderly scored 3 touchdowns. Good for you, AJ Adaly. I don't know your name. Yeah, Tulane won in overtime. They beat Eastern Carolina 31-24. Dontrell Hilliard had 189 yards and 2 touchdowns for the Green Wave. 2 more wins in a row, and Tulane is bowl eligible, baby. Let's go Green Wave. Let's go Green Wave. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit of a Toledo. Not Toledo. I am a Toledo fan, but I'm also a Tulane fan. Texas A&M beat New Mexico 55-14 after a 35-point second quarter. Not bad, not bad. Nick Starkel, 21 for 30, 416 yards, and 4 touchdowns for Texas A&M. Nice. Old Dominion beat Florida International 37-30. Ray Lowry, 168 yards and 2 touchdowns for the Monarchs of Old Dominion. Nice. Missouri beat Tennessee. Tennessee's 0-6 in the SEC. They won 50-17. Ish Witter had 216 yards on the ground and a touchdown. And yeah, also Butch Jones was fired from Tennessee. So yeah, there you go. Butch Jones is no longer the volunteer coach. UCLA won a close one here against Arizona State. They went 44-37. Arizona beat Oregon State 49-28. Khalil Tate keeping up his great year. 16 carries, 206 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Wyoming beat Air Force 28-14. Boise State beat Colorado State 59-52 in overtime. Geez, Colorado State was actually winning 35-17 at half, but Boise State came back and won the game. Alexander Madison had 242 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground. And then Fresno State beat Hawaii 31-21. So that was all the action in Week 11. Oh, what a week it was. Let's look at the rankings. Now, this is the AP poll, guys. This doesn't really matter, but you can pause if necessary. I'm just going to see who is actually in here. There's Stanford, LSU's in there. Michigan State is still there. Boo, South Florida. NC State is in there, so they dropped TCU down. Ohio State up to 8th. Nice. Georgia, I mean, they got Auburn ahead of Georgia. I know Auburn beat them, but I mean, 1 loss, 2 losses. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, Memphis is up there. They still got. Wait, they moved Mississippi State up 1 for losing. All right. I'm not gonna be, mad. I'm not gonna. Oh no, Toledo is not receiving any votes. It's sad. It's sad. It's sad. It's very, very, very sad. I'm gonna show you the college football playoff rankings real quick because we missed these last week. Here they are. Pause if necessary. Yes, that is Northwestern ranked. That is Northwestern ranked. So here they are. Here they are. Alright guys, that's going to be it from me. If you wanted to enjoy the video, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube. If you haven't already, it's Tyler signing off saying, I'll see you next one, guys. Have a good one. Later.